Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. My name is Claude Sharati. Tonight we talk about youth leadership, and we specifically discuss the case of a young leader who is in the Shepparton, Goulburn Valley, Shepparton area. That's country Victoria. More on this story right after this. Thank you very much. As I said earlier, tonight we'll be talking about youth leadership. We know that there are a lot of young people in our communities, and it's a good thing that there's actually a lot more activities being undertaken by young people. The youth is the future of our community, so it's important to not only encourage and motivate the youth, but also be able to assist them as they develop and they undertake various projects to improve the community. Tonight, I have a young man with me. His name is Declo Bisimwa. He is in the Goulburn Valley area, precisely in Shepparton. Declo, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming to our show. We know
Thanks
that
for having me.
you are a very, very active young person, and you do a lot of things in the community. You are professional. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we know more about who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much, Clyde, and hi everyone. So my name is Declo Bisimwa. I'm 33 years old. I'm originally from the Republic Democratic of Congo. I was born in a small town called Bukavu, and particularly in a small place called Essence Major Vangu. So with my background, I came to Australia as a refugee 12 years ago. So I became a refugee when I was 8 years of age. I went to Tanzania. I escaped there. I lived there as a refugee for 10 years, and then I escaped from Tanzania to Uganda, where I lived 2 years and 3 months before I traced my father here in Australia through the Red Cross. So after that, we were united in 2009, and I came here with my siblings and and we all live in Shepherd in Australia at the moment. So
Okay,
yes, I'm a father and I'm married. I've got 2 kids, and my wife will settle in Shepherdson.
sure. So, how's life in Shepparton? You've been living in Shepparton for how many years now?
I've been here for 12 years now, so I came straight from Africa to Shepherdson.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people who have come to Australia and they're going to country Victoria, like Shepparton or Donga or many other places, and then they do sort of what a second migration. They move to a big city, but you are one of those who remain, and I see what you do in the Shepparton. So it looks like you're pretty happy with your life in Shepparton, isn't it?
Yes, I am indeed. I've built a better life in Shepherdson. So I Shepparton is a small countryside is a small town where we are multicultural communities. And since I came here, Shepparton has become my second home. So I'm happy, and my family is happy to be in Shepparton, Victoria.
Give us a little bit of a description of the African communities in Shepparton. What sort of nationalities and what sort of what's the context over there?
Well, we do have many nationalities here in Shepparton. So we do have both Congolese and Sudanese, and we've got some Burundians. We've got some people from Sierra Leone. We've got people from Rwanda as well, and we've got Nigerian people as well. So we do have other communities such as Afghani community, Iraqi community, and we've got many other people such as Malaysian people and so on. And we all come together as a multicultural community.
All right, and it looks like it's a pretty cohesive, multicultural community over there, and I see a lot of things that you guys do, and you seem to all be united. Obviously, it's as you said, it's a smaller place compared to Victoria. I mean, compared to Melbourne or Sydney, but there's quite a good cohesion between the communities. That we don't hear of any issue in the Shepparton, other than obviously right now there's a bit of a COVID situation, which we're going to be talking about in a moment. But tell us about the cohesive nature of the communities in Shepparton.
Well, as you mentioned about the issues, I think there are always issues within every communities. So we do have issues as a community, but at the end we all come together and try to resolve those kind of issues. Especially we as the leaders of the communities, we all, when there is an issue in the community, we always come together, sit together, no matter where, no matter what, or no matter where you are, or no matter where you come from.
Mhm.
For example, if there is a problem within the Sudanese community, I know there is we can all come together and try to find a solution. We all have that strong collaboration between us, and that's how we deal with some issues as African community, for example.
Okay, right now we know that there is a COVID situation that is making life in Shepparton a little complicated. You're still in lockdown, even though I think some conditions are being relaxed. Tell us how that has been happening.
Well, it's been such a difficult times for everyone within Shepherdson at the moment. So the first cases was detected 2 weeks ago. So it was one of the hardest time we've never had so far, because we were so lucky in Shepherdson, because when this COVID situation broke in Melbourne, we were very safe here, and we tried our best to follow the rules, the government's rules, and we respected everything that we saw on the TV. However, 2 weeks ago, this came, and that was the the hardest problem, because many children were at school and they found most of the cases at school. So all the families were in isolation, especially like almost the Congolese family were in isolation. But other people as well, such as the both Australian, African, every community were in isolation. So
Mm.
we all try to come together as leaders and try to see how we can help people, because the biggest problem when this happens, people didn't have enough food in their houses. And lucky we've got such a strong community, and some leaders from they just came together before I got in touch with them. So they created this organization called GV Cares, and through that GV Cares, that's when many people and many families start getting supports as like food relief, emergency assistance. And that's where they gave me the chance to be part of that. So I got in touch with them, and the leader of the GV Cares, Mrs. Lisa Mackenzie, who just got in touch with me, and I started sending her all the list of the Congolese and Sudanese and Afghani families that got in touch with me. And through there, we started assisting family with food, emergency food, until when I got a chance to be in touch with the Seven Saint de Paul Society. So
Mhm.
Seven Saint de Paul Society that called me and said, Declo, we've got a few bags of food here. Would you like to volunteer and give them to some families who are unable to put food on their tables? So
Mm.
I didn't think twice, and I was working at the moment. I was on my at lunchtime, so I went straight to Seven Saint de Paul with one of my colleagues. We pick up those bags, and we try to make them be like enough for the family that we are supposed to give to them. So we came up with 15 bags, and we delivered them to those 15 families. But that wasn't enough. but lucky because myself and the community were relying on GV cares until I got this call from the lady who left those 8 bags at 7th the Paul, and the lady called Rebecca. She's an Australian African lady. She's the president of Afri Aussie Link, and she called me and she said, "Declo, I've got more food because I've seen the work that you've done so far, and I'm happy to partnership with you so that we can deliver those food to the community." And that's
Yeah,
when everything started. Yeah,
absolutely. So you've been quite active trying to help families out there. I understand you also run a foundation or an association called Masso. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I am. I've been very active like since I came to Australia. So yes, I'm a founder and director of Masso Foundation. So Masso is a local and international organizations based in Australia and Africa as well. So our mission is
And I
we
understand.
are
Sorry to interrupt. I understand. Masso is means school first in
That's
Swahili,
right.
isn't it?
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
all right.
Masomo
Yeah.
Mbele first. Sorry about that. Masomo Mbele is a Swahili name, which means
Yeah.
school first.
Yes.
Yes,
All right. Yeah. Go ahead now. Tell us a bit about more about what led you to put the organization together and what you focus on, what you do.
that's right. So Masomo Mbele, as I said, is a local and international organization. So Masomo Mbele is about hope, and it's about the importance of education. So our mission is to build schools in world-said nations and help disadvantaged and orphans children who are struggling to access education opportunity.
Mm.
So
Yes. You are active both in Australia as well as in Africa, or just in Australia at this point.
yes, we are active both in Australia and Africa.
All right.
Mm,
That's good.
yes.
Now you have lived in Shepparton for a long time, and we know that the community in Shepparton has been growing. When I say the community, I mean specifically the African Australian community. I remember it was back in 2005 or something, or 2009, probably, when I first visited Shepparton, along with a few community leaders, when we're just receiving the first Congolese families that were coming and being established in Shepparton, which they were one of the very few African families being established there. Since then, the community has developed significantly, and there is a lot of success in settlements in Shepparton. Many of the families that have established themselves in Shepparton have been quite successful in all areas. What is the key for the success in that settlement experience?
All right. Thanks for that. I know there is many keys of success when it comes to African Australian community and people in general. So the key of our success is we have that work ethic. The majority of us work very hard. Many people have tried their best since you mentioned like the first few families that came between 2005 and 2006, and those people have tried their best. Many people knows that how they struggle before they became who they ought to have what they have today. So we all work hard. We all have that strong cultural unity. So we all, when there is a like when there is a problem such as employment or like a community events, we always come together, and I think that is the most important thing that we all gather together as a community.
Now, in Melbourne, we know the youth has been. I mean, there's been some issues relating to the youth, and that obviously has been sort of inflated by media reporting. The majority of the young people have been quite successful, but there's been a tiny minority of young people that have been antisocial in some ways and involved in uh, a lot of not so good things. Now, that problem doesn't exist in Shepparton, does it?
No, we are lucky in Shepperton when it comes to youth. Many of our youth don't involve into many things that we had like in Melbourne, but we still have some kind of issue when it comes to youth. But the most of our youth are still like country countryside people, so we haven't get that chance to see like the town, to live that life, like that, to live the city life.
Yeah.
So that I think is still the most important and something that's still helping our youth here in Shepparton.
Okay, let me remind those watching. You're watching African Knowledge on Africa Media Australia. We're talking today to Declo Bisimwa, who's a young leader in the Shepparton area. Shepparton is in country Victoria. And we are getting him to share his insights, knowledge, and experience in relation to the community leadership that he's been exercising in Shepparton. Declo, you've been quite active, as I said initially, and even recently when the Prime Minister wanted to talk to the community leaders there in Shepparton in relation to the COVID thing. You were part of those people who attended that meeting. What has been driving you to sort of do what you can to empower others and assist the community? What is the motivation coming from?
So I guess my motivation comes from my background as a refugee, but I think we all born, like everyone has been born, has got some qualities, but when I look at myself, I think that I believe that I was born with those qualities as a leader. And when I first came to Australia, I see the way like many people has helped me in my journey as a refugee from Africa to Australia. So my desire when I first came here was just to give something back to the community. And from 2009 when I came, I got a chance to be involved with many youth leadership programs, and also I was able to have people like strong Australian people who really direct me in a right pathway, so I didn't have enough time to waste, and I tried to involve as much as I can with the Australian community, learn from them, and also I've got some people who have inspired me to become the person I am today and to help me in my leadership journey. So since there, I started helping the community. I started doing a lot of things. I do like working hard in silence. I'm not that kind of person who always show my everything I do on media, but people who knows me, they know how hard I worked, and people who knows me, they know what I've contributed within communities, not only African communities, but also within Australian society as well in Shepparton and Australia in general. So I've been doing a lot of things. I've been involved since I came. I've been involved into soccer. When I first came here, I had the opportunity to have my first contract with the Premier League in Shepparton. So I play with the first team was an Iraqi team where we were all multicultural, like Sudanese, Congolese, Afghani, and the Iraqi team. And that gave me the chance to build a strong relationship with both Iraqi and Afghani people and Sudanese as well. And then the second team was Shepherdson, where I play with both Australian and Italian people. And from there, I started open like my relationship. I started to build the relationship with people, and then I got a chance to become the pastoral council at our St. Brendan's parish, where I work closely to the priest and Monsignor Jeffrey Peter. And then we started the youth program with one of our farmer priests who called Father Rob. And those kind of involvements and the opportunity opened the doors of many things. And that's when the motivation came from. So with the question about this meeting with our prime minister.
Mm.
So it started because, as I mentioned, like many people knows my contribution in our community and the Australian society in general. So it's begin when the lockdown started, and we at the moment we are 106 Congolese families in Shepparton, and there are a few families who are still who came right when the COVID started, so we
Mhm.
haven't get a chance to talk to them or to know how many they are. But all the 106 family relied on us. So they call us, they said, Declo, and I've got another colleague, and that is one of the Masso Mbele border. His name is Flavio Lubadi. So they contact us and say we don't have food, we haven't got anything, and the majority of them have got like 10 children. So that's when we started running everywhere using our contacts so that we can assist them with food. And that's where this opportunity to speak and to represent the African Australian multicultural communities and the cult community in general came from. And lucky, they sent me an invitation the day before yesterday, and they told me that I have to represent the African Australian and talk to the Prime Minister. Yes.
Okay. Now, when you obviously, as you do many of these things, I suppose there's also some sort of a body that you deal with in Shepparton that you liaise with. I think it's is it the ethnic community Victoria that is actually quite active in helping multicultural communities. Can you tell us about some of the stakeholders, the organizations that people like yourself and others who are active in the community
Mhm.
are able to communicate with to help with what you are doing?
Yeah, that's right. So one of the biggest organization we have in Shepparton is the organization that I'm currently working for. It's called Primary Care Connect. I've been working for Primary Care Connect for 6 months now, and it's a big organization that help both refugees and asylum seekers. And also lucky to be appointed as a refugee community or bicultural worker, where I work with both refugee and asylum seekers. So we provide both health and other kind of information to newly arrival, and we help them resettle in Shepparton. And as you know, when we as refugee arrived in Australia, some have got health issues, and that's where they all come and seek for information or all the health assistance. So we also have other organizations such as Ethnic Council. We have many other organizations, as I mentioned, like GV Cares. We do have other employees who really help our African community, such as we have one of the employee called Guj. Guj is a company that's helped many African Australia with employment opportunities.
Okay. Now we have another 6 minutes or so to go with the show. As we getting to the end, I want you to sort of uh, give advice to other young people, whether it's in Shepparton or other places in Victoria, or even the broader community in Australia, who sort of like yourself, they've come to this country in circumstances where they were forced to arrive here due to things that have happened back home. And though you settled in a small town, but you've managed to do quite well, both professionally as well as in your involvement with the community, and you're trying to give back to the community at Shepparton, and even more than, I mean, beyond that, because with your foundation, for example, you're trying to help with Africa. So, what sort of advice can you give to other young people to follow suit?
Well, there are many advice to give to our young people, especially this generation. Um, I know that I always tell the youth that coming to Australia is from Africa is like coming from one planet to another where everything is completely different. So language is different. Lifestyle is different. Food is different. Like culture is different. So in order to settle in Australia first, you have to live yourself and give yourself to the community that you're gonna that will welcome you. Let's say, for example, if you just come from Africa to Shepparton, don't just remain in your own community as African community. Try to involve within the Australian communities as well. Learn from their culture. Try to make friends and try to do the right thing. I know that many of us forget that we are coming here. This country has given us the opportunity. Let's say, for example, I lived as a refugee for 12 years before I came to Australia. So Australia people in general and the Australian society has given me that opportunity to live and establish my life here. So the first thing I would like to advise to our youth is, no matter what, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Dream big. Dream big. Never stop asking, because by asking you'll be given. So if you ask, you shall be given. Never stop asking. Do the right thing. Get involved within both African and Australian community. And also, as you know, like English is not our first language. Try to study. My advice to our youth is, as soon as you get here, I know that we all love money, but forget about money. Just, even though you don't speak English, go to TEF, study at TEF. Then if you get an opportunity to study at university, go. Do university. Don't take a gap year. Just study until you finish. I think I forgot to mention that I'm studying at the moment. I'm currently studying. I'm studying a Master of Social Work at La Trobe Shepparton campus. And I came here, people who knows me know not really well. I came here without speaking any English, because I learned English for 3 months before I came. So no matter how you struggle, just keep struggle. No matter how you struggle, keep trying, keep working hard. Be polite to people, because you never know who will help you. Be polite, do the right thing, and respect everyone.
All right, that's a very good advice. We know that there's a lot of opportunities in this country, but many of the young people who arrive here, and especially those who are much younger, grow up here, don't always see, um, the amount of opportunity that there is compared to some of the countries in Africa, because they don't necessarily always compare. They may not have had much experience in Africa, and some of them, unfortunately, don't always do the right thing. But the majority of young people are being quite successful, and it's good to see people like yourself. I know it was a bit of a job for me to convince you to come to this show, because I see a lot of things that that you do, and I think if we need to help others, we need actually to show people need to have role models. Young people have to have role models, and that's why I insisted with you that it was important to come and talk about what you do, show what you do, not because you want to brag about it, but it's because you want to share your experience and hope that some people out there will be inspired by it. And definitely,
Sure.
it is very, very important for other young people to see other people who are doing things that they would want to be able to do. And hopefully, that helps the community to be better. So we hope to find you, I mean, to invite you even in the future to talk more about what you're doing. You can suffer you know, uh, do not
I
always
know
what it
that's
is.
right. And I know, Clyde, sorry for interrupting, but
That's okay.
I know that this is just a short conversation, but
Yeah.
I'll give you the opportunity and to go deeper into my life, so that because sometimes people look at me, they know that my appearance maybe can lie, some people look at me, they see the way, like, for example, I like dressing well, I like dressing as a professional. Sometimes they look at me and they don't know where I came from. They thought that I was born in Australia, but I always try to share my life journey, not only to, I always tell people I don't want to be a famous, but if I can help one young person in Australia to achieve his dream by sharing my journey, my life journey with him, I feel like that's my job.
Yeah.
Another thing is, Clyde, I came here. I came here. My family background, like, we didn't have anything, so like I couldn't even afford a shirt in all my life. And coming to Australia and see where I can even work and I get more money to help others. It's something that I feel like I'm blessed.
Mm.
It's such a blessing. So I always share my life journey so that to encourage youth, to encourage young people, and also to show the difference between the opportunity that we've been given in Australia compared with what we had back home. So I'm really looking forward to have a good and a serious conversation with you so that people can learn more and I can be able to share more about my life journey. Thank you.
Absolutely. We will be more than happy to have you again and not just talk about your own life, which is obviously very inspiring, but also talk about, you can share with us what is happening in Shepparton on a regular basis, so that you highlight what you're doing, what other people are doing, and the community is better informed. Because part of the reasons why we established this platform, Africa Media Australia, and this specific show called African Knowledge is because we think there's a lot of things out there that people do, that people know, that if we share our stories, if we share our experiences, wisdom, and insight, we can empower the community much better. So that's the whole purpose. So we hope to be able to have you more regularly to talk
Sure.
about what is happening in Shepparton.
And also, Clyde, I think we are so lucky here in Shepparton because I know, as I mentioned before, there is issues in every communities,
Mm,
but we are so lucky and blessed here in Shepparton because many people always try to help we as African Australian people.
mm,
When I first came here, I saw the way people try to do their best so that I can feel that sense of belonging. I remember I first came and I had the opportunity to be accepted at Notre Dame College where I did E11 and E12. I couldn't speak any English, but the way that the teachers, the dedication they put and the courage they put and the time they invested into me so that I can learn, and it was amazing. And even here at La Trobe University, they know that we are refugees, so English is not our first language. We have to struggle to get where we are, but without their support and other community leader support, we couldn't be where we are today. So I always try to, like, one of the secrets I always tell the youth is just be polite in life. Be polite, listen, don't stop asking, do the right thing, because if you do the right thing, everyone will see you. Everyone will see what you're doing. For me, I feel like to be invited to represent the African multicultural community, to speak to Prime Minister, I don't think like I'm special. No, I'm not special, Clyde, but people have seen my leadership. People have seen my patience. People have seen the way I struggle because it took me 12 years, Clyde, to reach where I am today. I've done every kind of job. Like now, I'm working as a professional, but I started working at McDonald's back 10 years ago. I work as a farmer. I do all the milking cows. I work in every kind of factories. But the biggest blessing I had was the trust that I had with everyone that I've worked around. I know that I've experienced some discrimination, which I will
mhm,
talk in the future.
mhm.
But the trust that people gave me, the trust that people have put into me, that has opened the door of my blessings, to be honest.
Absolutely. That's very inspiring to hear. Next time we'll talk about some of these issues, whether it's discrimination, racism, that is still part of the equation in this country, or challenges about obtaining work in a rural area, or other challenges about family and all that sort of thing. We will try to go into those issues and see how both yourself and other people you know in the community have been able to overcome them. So, for now, I want to say thank you, Declo, for your time, and we congratulate you on your achievement so far, and we know that you still have quite a lot in you that you want to bring out. So keep on doing the good work, and we're sure that not only you will succeed in your own personal and professional career, but also certainly in the community space where you're trying to add something to the community. You've already done quite a lot, and there's more that you will be able to add.
Thank you so much for having me, Clyde. I really appreciate your time. But I would like to, before we finish, I feel like I cannot I cannot leave this opportunity without say something in my own language, which is
Oh
Swahili,
yeah, actually that's a good thing. Yeah.
because yes, because I know that this is a dream come true. To be honest, I always say, like, sometimes I say to people, when you get this, when someone gives you the opportunity to represent your country or some people, your community, it's a dream. It's a dream. And
Yeah.
for me, Clyde, to be honest, it doesn't matter if we all come from the same background as African, but as I respect you a lot, and I see this as a great opportunity. So this is the opportunity to say something in Swahili, because there
Go
is
ahead.
many people who don't speak Swahili.
Yeah.
Jambo kwa wote, na mie jina yangu ni Declo, niko mtoto wenyu wa Bukavu, Congo, na hapa Shepparton, Victoria, mjini wa Australia. Nilikuwa penda ni remercier vraiment batu yote ba africain, ba congolais, bote ba dunia nzima, bote be banaendelea kutuunga mkono. Niko hapa naishi Australia, ça fait déjà 12 ans, miaka 12, na kukua yangu hapa ni kuonyesha watu kama kuna espoir yenye iko pale. Batu ya mingi banakutana maisha, kama maisha iko inaendelea nacheza, batu ya mingi banapunguza ile espoir yabo. Muendelee na tia imani, batu yote muendelee naomba, surtout wale bakingali naishi mu makamp de refuge, muendelee naomba. Mie siko spesiale mwe Mungu alipatia hii neema ya kufika hapa Australia. Tunabaombeaka hata tuwapatie kitu, tunabaombea Mungu abasaidie vraiment na nyinyi mkuye hapa. Hatuna kitu ya spesiale hapa Australia. Mimi najua ni opportunity njo, ma opportunity njo zinapishana par rapport na kwetu, lakini batu bote bebiko mu camp de refuge, mutie magoti chini, muendelee kuomba Mungu na Mungu atabasaidia, mtakuya hapa. Na batu bebiko hapa, tuendelee tunapendana sisi Wakongomani. Sisi Wakongomani tunajua kama mtoto wa mwenzako anabarikiwa, wewe kwako inakuwa njo kikwazo. Ukiona mtoto wa mwingine anabarikiwa, au ukiona mwenzako kolege anabarikiwa, omba Mungu, shukuru Mungu, paske ikingali baraka yetu sisi yote kama vile wa Afrika en general. Alors, ukiona mtoto wa mwenzako anabarikiwa, soutenir aendelee mbele, au yue vyenye ule mtoto wa mwenzako akibarikiwa kula, yue vyatafanyizia watoto bekingali nje. Mimi namalizia kusema asante sana kwa ndugu wetu wakingali natuona. S'il vous plaît, muendelee kusoutenir masomo mbele, fondation masomo mbele, tuungane mkono, tuangalie vitu vyenye tutaweza fanyizia nchi yetu ya Kongo. Asante sana na mbarikiwe.
Okay,
Thanks very much,
asante
God.
sana. That's how you say thank you very much in
Yes,
Swahili for
that's
those who
right.
may not speak Swahili. All right,
That's
that's
right.
all for now, folks. And for those who've been watching, we thank you for your time. We encourage you, as usual, to like the video, share it through your network, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click that notification bell so that you will be automatically updated when we publish new content, new videos. And if you have something that you want to share with the community, anything that adds value to the broad African Australian community and the African community globally, because when you're on the internet, you are global, feel free to contact us, and we will try to find you some time to have a chat and allow you to share your insight and knowledge. Thank you very much. And until next time, stay blessed and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye bye.
Hi, Clyde. Thank you so much.
Okay. That was good.
Ah, thank you so much, Mkuu. Merci beaucoup, vraiment.